famous warrior. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you guys are continuing to get comfortable with this being your space to come and get encouragement and inspiration to face everyday battles of life, everyday situations that we all find ourselves dealing with in one way or another. Today I have a friend of mine here today, Wemi Musukwa. I think it's safe to say that I've known Wemi since a former life.
Yeah.
Because I met Wemi when he was serving as one of my teachers when I was working at the church back in the day, which feels like a previous life.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. But Wemi is here today not to talk about serving in children's church or dealing with children's ministry, but he's here to talk about his personal experience with his struggle with alcoholism, which I think as a Zambian, if you're watching this and you're a Zambian, you've either struggled with this yourself or know someone in your family or at work or a student friend, whatever the case may be, but you know someone that is either having a struggle with this and they know that it's a problem, or you have identified that they have a problem and they claim that they don't have a problem. Yeah. So today we want to share our conversation with you guys in hopes that it will not only inspire and encourage you, but also give you some insight into what someone that you may know that's having this challenge is actually going through and how you can better support them as they try to get out of this trap of being addicted to alcohol. So Wemi, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for not only taking the time, but also coming to talk about something that is not the greatest thing to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. With your experience, your life experience, your marriage, your dad, like you could have come on to talk about anything other than this particular topic. So exactly. I appreciate you taking the time to come and share your vulnerability with not just me but our viewers, in hopes that your testimony and how God has brought you through to the other side will be an inspiration, but also a roadmap of sorts for somebody who might be where you were years ago.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so to get us started, before we dive deep into the heart of our topic, I just want viewers to kind of get a feel for who you are and feel like they know you as they listen to your story. So just tell us about yourself in 5 sentences.
Okay, Louise, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I would describe myself as a happy guy, outgoing. I think it's very easy to make friends with me, and I'm always willing to give a helping hand. So I think that would be the best description, and I'm God-fearing.
Okay, talk about your wife, your kids.
Okay, I've been married for 6 years now. Yeah, I've got 2 kids, Cairo and Kobe. My wife is Yasmin Makulu Musukwa. I think my family has been the biggest inspiration for me to actually make this, this decision to quit alcohol. I think it's something that I've tried. At some point I stopped. I think for a number of years. When I was young, I had a lot of friends who encouraged me to go to church and everything. I think that period I stopped. And then when I go to university, it's a whole different setup. Yeah, you meet different people from different walks of life, and I ended up going back to that life. And sometimes you get in so deep it's hard for you to come out of it. I tried a number of times. I would stop maybe 2 months, 3 months, but you still go back. But this time around, it's like I'd been praying over it, and it's something that I feel like something divine, just came upon me, and I've managed to do it. End of this year, I'll be saying I'm 2 years sober.
Wow.
Now I don't even think about alcohol, and I feel like my relationships with my children, my wife, friends are better. I've got friends who encourage me, they're actually, I realized to say after I quit drinking that a lot of people actually want to quit drinking, but they just don't know how to go about it. A number of people have reached out to me. I'd made a post, I think, in December.
Yeah, the 1 year sober post.
Yes,
right?
Trust me, a number of people reached out to me. Friends who've got my number calling me, dude, how did you do it?
Yeah.
It's only God. If I tell you I did it myself, then I'm lying to you. You know. One, God, and you need to put your mind to it. If I can do it, so can you. I mean, sometimes it gets so hard. You may need to talk to somebody, maybe like myself, to try and encourage you. But I have friends in the background who have been encouraging. I've got a friend, I won't say his name, but I think now he's going on 6 months sober. Wow. Yeah, just from the encouragement I give him and the support, I check on him every day. I had no one to check on me apart from my wife, and but I think through her support and support from my close friend from work, I think I've managed to do this, and obviously the grace of God. Yeah.
Awesome. So before we go head first in this thing, I want us to first start with a definition. I like definitions because I think they give us a good foundation. Because someone out there might be like, okay, what really is alcoholism? May I drink once in a while? Am I an alcoholic? So in your own words, what is alcoholism?
Okay, in my own words, I would say when you become dependent on alcohol, you feel like you can't function until you drink. It sort of becomes like a fuel, Yeah, I don't know, for me, I wouldn't say I would drink every day, but when you just reach Wednesday, going up, I can't explain it, only if you drink, you understand what I'm talking about. It's like, you just feel like you have to have a drink. Yeah, and something is driving you away from home. It's like home is boring, you can't stay at home.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would have these conversations. My wife is asking me, why don't you want to stay at home? You argue, there's nothing to do at home. But now I realize that there's actually a lot to do at home. Yeah, but before, I would always, so I should just be at home watching TV and all that. Yeah, but now I would rather be home than be anywhere else. Because most of the times I'll go out, you have regrets. Maybe you bash your car, you spend money unnecessarily, I think alcoholism is something that's, it affected me, affected the people around me. The fact that almost every week you have to drink, and when you drink, it's not only maybe you have a beer or something. You get sloshed. You don't even remember what happened. I've had nights where I don't remember anything. Wow. Friends just come and tell you, hey, dude, what you did yesterday. You're even wondering, like, what? And I'm thinking one day if I ever become a president, I hope nobody has
any footage.
Yeah, so basically that's that. You're dependent on alcohol. The alcohol is your fuel. You just have to drink for you to feel like you are functioning. Yet you are dysfunctional when you drink. Right. Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what I would say is alcoholism.
Okay. So you've mentioned drinking in uni, but you alluded to having started drinking before uni. So paint the picture for me and the viewers of how early, at what age, at what stage of life, where were you when you were introduced to alcohol? Like, where did this start from? How did you get into it? What were you using it for? Was it recreational? Was it a coping mechanism? Was it fun? Paint the picture for us a bit.
Okay. I think I started drinking when I was in grade 8. Yeah, I was in grade 8 in school, high school actually.
Yeah.
I think it was fun. You feel like for you to have a good time, you need to get high. I think the time when there was, I'm sure a lot of people can remember those, like sachets of alcohol, officers, and there was, what was that? Autumn harvests. Yeah, like that's the time I started drinking. So, you sit in a circle with your friends, you buy the strongest spirit that you can find, the cheapest one. You have a sip, you pass it on to your friend, Yeah, I mean, we were young then. It was I don't even know how we started, but that's where it all started from, you know. And as the years go by, you know, you become more tolerant to it. Yeah, you know, you're trying to go to the clubs and everything. You know, the whole thing was, how fast can I get drunk? You know, you get the alcohol, you get high. I mean, you throw up and all that. You know, it's like you're just out of your mind, you know. So I think it's a long time. I started drinking a long time ago, and it became normal because everybody around me was drinking. So I didn't really see anything wrong with it, you know. I think maybe the moment I had, you know, like that aha moment, you know. There's a friend of mine from uni. I think we would just go to Unza, you know, we're standing doing registration for bursary. So, you know, this guy, I don't even know how, he just said, you know, you don't suit to drink alcohol, you know, you're already this outgoing person, you know. It doesn't suit you, and the guy doesn't drink. He doesn't know up to this day that those words that he said to me, they stayed with me, you know, and they've been echoing in my head, you know, all the time, you know, like this guy, what he said. And I think that has been also the drive behind me stopping, because every time, you know, you've got a bad day, you're drunk, you wake up, you know, the next morning I'm arguing with my wife. She's just, why did you come back late and all that, you know. You feel like she's bothering you, you know, like, why is this person bothering me? I'm just trying to live my life, but not knowing that she's actually looking out for you, you know. I think now I can tell you that I'm in the best space in my life. My wife is very happy, you know. She's been my support for me to get to where I am now. And if I knew what I know now, I could have stopped earlier. But it wasn't easy. So it's something that I started when I was really young, and it was hard for me to get off it because everybody around me used to drink, and I saw it normal because everybody's doing it, I should do it. But now, I mean, I'm my own person, and I do what I feel is right by me and what is right by God. And at the end of the day, I think my family comes first, and I try to do what pleases my family and what pleases God.
You you mentioned having an aha moment. Try and tell us, like, you don't have to go into details, but kind of tell us a story of a time when you got completely wasted and how that was like your rock bottom moment that really made you make that decision, like, okay, I can't. Like, what was the rock bottom moment that made you decide, like, I'm done with this?
I think one weekend, you know, the usual, you start, maybe you drink on a Wednesday, Thursday you don't drink, Friday, then I think Saturday went out. Some friends were at East Park. One of the places there at East Park. You know, where you get so drunk. I mean, you're having a good time and everything. I think I spent almost maybe over 5,000 kwacha or something like that. You know, just, you know, like I said, I love to give, you know. And now imagine I love to give when I'm drunk.
I'm still processing the 5,000.
You know, when I was drunk, I became Father Christmas, you know. Drinks for everybody, you know. And then I mean, you get home. To be honest, I don't even know how I got home. Next, I was realizing I'm waking up, I'm on the carpet, and I think my daughter then, she had just started walking or something like that. And when I woke up, you know, my wife is there, you know, sort of, she's crying, you know. You know, Cairo saw you like that, you blacked out and all that. She was trying to wake you up. And you know, I felt, you know, sort of like useless, you know. I had a nice time and everything. I can't even remember the nice time I had. I can remember the first few hours, but I can't remember the whole thing, you know. Now just the thought of, so my daughter sees me drunk, blacked out, you know, she's trying to wake me up. You know, she's a small, sort of, I don't know what she went through, you know, seeing her dad like that, you know. And for me, I think that was the moment, you know, when I realized to say, you know, this type of life can't go on like this, you know. My kids, and I told myself, my kids should never see me in that state ever again, you know. And I think that was the moment when I realized I needed to make a change, you know. Seeing my wife crying and my daughter was trying to wake me up, and I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what I said. If I was drunk, maybe if I pushed out what I can't remember all that. So I think that was the moment that made me realize that I need to turn away from this life. Yeah.
Other than your wife and your baby girl Cairo at the time, because Kobe wasn't born yet, who do you think your addiction hurt the most?
I think I would say myself. Yeah, in that, you know, in as much as I felt I was having a good time, you know, there was nothing good about that, you know. One, to be honest with you, we're out there, you know, spending money, one, on people. Truth of the matter, they don't even care about us. The only reason they act like they care about us is because we're giving something to them. Yeah, and I mean, some of these friends, you know, you're there in the club calling my guy. You don't even know that person's name, you know. Yeah, I mean, you spend 5,000 kwacha on a person, the next day I was actually even going to say, yeah, that guy is greedy. Spent 5,000 kwacha and couldn't give me, you know, so much. So I think, one, personally, I hurt myself more than anyone else, in that, you know, with the drinking, I couldn't really give the best version of myself to people, you know, because you know, when you're drunk, it's like you're at a different. You know, I've been reading a lot and watching a lot of videos, just researching about this, you know. It's like when you're drunk, it's not really you. Something takes over, you know, your body, you know, and you do strange things. Yeah, I mean, I'll just give you another. When I was at Unza, there's a friend of mine. He was from Malawi. In Malawi, his dad was a high commissioner or something like that in Zambia. He had a big party at their house. You know, I got so drunk that day. You know, I love sneakers. People stole my sneakers. I blacked out. Imagine, took off my sneakers, and I saved a lot of money to buy those shoes. I woke up, I didn't have my shoes on, and I was laying by the poolside. Maybe I could have fallen in the water or something like that. So, you know, I asked the guards, you know, like, who took my shoes? Like, your friends took your shoes, and they left you. So imagine I walked home barefoot, you know, in my drunk state and everything. I don't know, it's like my body has always rejected alcohol. I don't know why. I would always take it in, but I'm one of those guys who would always black out after heavy. My friends would drink probably the same amount of alcohol I would drink, but for me, I always had blackouts. So it's like my body was trying to tell me something, and I just wasn't listening. Yeah. So I think I hurt myself more than anybody else, and I think the most important person at the end of the day, for me to give my best to everyone else, I must be at my level best, you know. Yeah. So I think I hurt myself the most, and now I'm sort of like, you know, just trying to pick up the pieces and everything, and I think I'm in a good space, and I'm grateful that God has brought me so far.
Wow. Yeah. You mentioned people reaching out to you. You mentioned your wife being your support. I don't know this because I've never struggled with what you're describing, and I don't really know anyone other than yourself that has taken the steps that you've taken. Is there support groups in Zambia like Alcoholics Anonymous, or, you know, such support groups that we see in the movies, that would be of benefit to people such as yourself that are wanting to take this step but need that support?
I think when I just started to try, you know, when I wanted to quit drinking, I tried everything. You know, I felt like I couldn't do it on my own. So, you know, I would research. I would find a few places. I think, I don't know, it's Great North. I don't know, it's Health Center or something like that. I think they do. But what I realized is that most of these places that are there are quite expensive. Most people can't.
Not free meetings.
Yeah. So most people can't afford them, you know. So for me, I was at a point where, do I want to pay, or I just have to do this on my own, you know? And I feel like I'm one of those people, when I put my mind to something, trust me, I'll do it. People who know me, if you've promised me something and if I want to get it one way or the other, you're going to give it to me.
Yeah.
So I just said, you know what, God, I'm going to do this with you, and I put my mind to it. And I even told myself that day, I just said, last night was the last time I drank alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, my wife said, you always say that. Yeah, you always say, because I mean, I'll say that every other weekend. No, today is the last weekend.
Yeah.
But I told her last night was the last time I drank alcohol. And she can't believe it up to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. I believe it because that day I just felt it, you know, like this is the time, this is the last time I drank alcohol. Because, you know, like I said, it's just that thought, you know, my little girl seeing me like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
otherwise, I think we need more places that can help a lot of people. A lot of people want to quit drinking alcohol, actually.
Yeah.
So many people, like I said, have reached out to me, and that's how you know that people try, but they just don't know how to go about it, you know. Yeah, I mean, not everybody can have a strong mind like me to say, okay, I'll do this and I'll stop. Yeah, I think people actually need support groups, you know, someone to encourage them, someone who's been through this. Yeah, I'm just one individual, but if there's a number of people out there who can come together, maybe, God willing, I'll start up something myself. Yeah, you know, try and support people here and there. I've seen this guy on Facebook. He also posted his story. I think he's had a good success story as well. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think most of these places are too expensive. Most people can't afford them. So people just have to do it on their own. Yeah, but personally, people reach out to me and I give them a word of encouragement. I tell them how I did it and how they can also do it. And I think I've got a friend, 6 months clean. I've been supporting him and everything, and I think he's doing good so far. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about some of the practical things that you have had to do, started doing, have continued doing to help you on this journey to sobriety, or of sobriety that you've taken.
I think first and foremost, I always tell people, you know, you're saying you want to quit drinking alcohol, but you keep going back to the same places where you buy the alcohol, you know. One, you can't tell me today I've decided to quit drinking alcohol, but I'm going to hang out with your boys at the bar. Really? Are you going to stop drinking alcohol? No, I don't know what alcohol is like. I know it's like
it's seductive.
Yeah, it's just this thing that pulls you, you know. You can't be in that environment and not want to drink, you know. So I think, one, you have to be intentional about it. Obviously, the first few months, you just need to stay away from all those places. Your so-called drinking buddies, unfortunately, those guys have to be put outside the window, you know.
Kuwaya.
Yeah, you know, I just have to put them kuwaya, unfortunately, you know. I mean, some of them, your close relatives and everything, but until you reach that point where you feel, okay, you've got control of yourself. You know, to be honest with you, the point that I'm at now, I can go to a bar.
And because I was gonna ask, have you reached that point?
I've reached that point. Trust me. I've been to, I think, weddings. People are drinking and you know, like, it just doesn't move me anymore. It's like something was just taken out of me that used to make me want to drink, and now I just don't think about alcohol anymore. And sometimes, I think when the World Cup was on. You know, friends, my good friends, like, dude, we don't see you around anymore. So we went to watch a game. So no, there were so many people, you know, people are happy, they're drinking because of the World Cup. So, you know, now I'm there around all these people drinking. So I'm thinking, you know, it's like I'm seeing everything in 3D, you know, like, what are people laughing at, you know, like, there's nothing funny, but people are there laughing, you know. So, you know, for me, actually, I couldn't stay there anymore because I just felt I felt out of place, you know. But anyway, my friends, I can't lie, they're always supportive. None of them, you know, tell me, why you stop drinking, have a beer and all that. You know, they respect me, my decisions and what I've made, and I think they've been there for me. Sadly, there are certain people, you want to do this, your friends will tell you, why do you want to stop drinking and all that, but my friends have been supportive. And I think now I'm in a good place. I can be with people who are drinking, and I won't be tempted. Yeah, I think that's the grace of God, actually.
Yeah, indeed it is. You mentioned, back to Yasmin, your wife. So you mentioned her being your biggest support. What are some practical things that she has done to support you, that would encourage someone out there maybe who is a spouse of somebody who wants to kick this habit, or maybe they're a sibling of somebody who wants to stop drinking and they're thinking, okay, I want to support them, but what exactly should I be doing to help this person?
I think why I say my wife has been my biggest support, I think my wife would drink, but she was like an occasional drinker. But she saw how bad I would get. I mean, if you know me during the day, I'm this nice guy and everything, you know. Yeah, even when I was drunk, I was extra nice, you know. Yeah, but just the certain states that you get after you have a lot of drinks, I think it sort of got out of hand, you know. And I have so many people I grew up with who look up to me and everything. And then imagine there's this guy who you inspire this person, you know. Then they see you in this drunk state acting a fool, you know. I've got a friend, he's younger than me, but you know, he's like my good friend. Grew up looking up to me. He just told me like, hey, Wemi, too many people respect you, you know, for you to be in this state. And you just feel the shame, you know, that I felt, you know. So I think the support from my wife, she actually quit drinking maybe even a year before I quit, just so I could quit. Yeah, because you know, I would always say I want to drink, you know, I encourage, I have a beer and all that, you know, so that she doesn't, you know, sort of like look down on me, why are you drinking? Yeah, but then she just started refusing. No, I don't want, you know. So, and you know, just the fact that she did that for me, you know, for me to get better, you know. So I felt it's something that I also just had to, you know, like give back to her, you know. Just she'll give me the best version of herself, and I had to be there for her, you know. Because you know, you find you're drinking Friday, you're drunk, you had a program with your wife on a Saturday. I'm sleeping the whole day, I've got a bad hangover, I can't eat and all that, you know. So all the plans that we had messed up, you know. She goes out there alone and she's upset. Next weekend,
same thing.
It's just the same thing over and over and over again, you know. And God knows, if I didn't stop, I don't know what could have happened, you know. Yeah, but I think that's why I say she's been my biggest support, and now she's happy. Yeah, she's the happiest person. Yeah.
So 2 years sober, what would you say is or has been one of your biggest anchors, like the thing that has kept you grounded as you have walked this 2 years out?
Grounded as in
stable in your decision.
All right. Okay. I think I would say, you know, just the joy of seeing my family happy, and the joy of not waking up with a hangover. You know, like it's painful, you know. Hangovers are painful. Yeah, you know, I read something recently, you know. Someone said, I don't understand the concept of drinking alcohol. You've got a problem, you drink to take your problems away. But then you wake up the next day feeling really bad, and your problems are even much worse. Yeah, so you know, I think one for me, just the fact that I can wake up every day, my mind is on point. Yeah, I don't have to make excuses why I can't do something or why I can't make it for an appointment. Yeah, so I think just the fact that my family is happy, I've inspired a lot of people through this decision I've made, and I think I'm in the best shape of my life with regards to health. And you know, I gained a lot of weight from drinking alcohol. Okay, so just the other day I was at East Park. I met a friend of mine. I was in Studio 88. I think he's the manager there. So you know, he says, wow, when you've lost a lot of weight. So when Zoe in a chabe because there's a kondo komwamo, right? Yeah, so you know, I laughed. I said, I know what, I'm a papa now, and there's one of my other friends from there. So he says, he's my deacon now at my new church.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know, the guys just laughed and said, no, you look really good, man. You keep it up. Yeah, and you know, that's someone who's seen me from. I mean, he would see me when I was drinking and everything, and he's actually happy for me, and he's encouraging me, you know. Yeah, so I think that's something good, and I appreciate all the support that people have been giving out there, and I know that I'm going to inspire a lot of people. I know it's not easy to do, but a lot of people want to do it, and I'm here to encourage you. So please feel free to reach out to me if anything.
Yeah. You mentioned that one of the practical things that you did was staying away from places that you would go to drink. So I wanna ask if there was anything else that you did that helped you, especially in the first few months. And tied into that question is, in those first few months, because you've just made this decision to quit cold turkey, what was your biggest hindrance? Like, what kept on trying to trip you up and kept trying to get in the way of your decision?
Yeah. I think one, obviously, I stayed away from drinking places. Mm-hmm. I was avoiding most of my friends. Sorry, guys. I was avoiding most of my friends. Because it's not easy. You can't say you have stopped drinking, but you're still hanging out with the same people who maybe lead you to drinking. I don't know if I was the bad influence on them or if the bad influence on me. But also I think one thing that kept me busy is that I got committed to going to the gym, running, and I think it's a lifestyle now. Like a lot of people see me on the road, in those days I was a bit chubby running the road that I use, a lot of people see me, I was a bit big, they were laughing at me when I was walking and everything. But now, people say, this guy is tough, this guy runs every day, Trust me, I run every day. It's like, that's like my fuel now, I exercise a lot, and I think that's kept me busy, and it's like it cleans up your system. So I think that's something that has really helped me, to keep fit and everything. Otherwise it's not easy. You have to you have to have a strong mind to do it. You have to have a strong mind to do it. But if I can do it, anybody else can do it. There's nothing special about me.
So in the first few weeks or months, was there ever a point where like you came close, like super close to breaking the promise that you made to yourself and your wife?
I think there was. We're just normal stuff. You argue with your wife at home, and I was thinking, what can I do to piss her off? So like, what can I do to piss her off? Let me go and have a drink. And I don't know if it's God or something like that. When that point reached, one of my close friends calls me, and this is someone who's been checking up on me to see how I'm doing, And I told him, I argued with my wife, I'm about to drink. He said, no, please don't do it. I know you're going to hate yourself tomorrow and everything. Please don't do it. And trust me, I was there. I ended up just getting some goat meat and
going back home.
I went back home, and you sat down. we resolved issues, and I think the day passed. I think that was the one moment I can say I almost went back and for real, I could have hated myself because I'd made so much progress. So I'm grateful to my friend for reaching out to me on that day. It's like God has been with me throughout this path, because if he hadn't called me that day, I don't know what would have happened.
So you mentioned that you've been married for 6 years, right? And you've been 2 years sober. So majority of your marriage, the first 4 years, were like you described, weekend after weekend, having arguments with your wife and all that stuff. So how would you say the decision that you've made to stop drinking and live a life of sobriety to alcohol has impacted your marriage?
I think first what I would say is I think one of the biggest concerns my wife had was whenever I went out, would I come back
in one piece?
Or maybe someone will call her that this guy has died or something. Because even I don't understand how I would get home. I don't understand how I got home. Sometimes you call your friends, dude, what happened yesterday? Where were we? Like someone starts explaining to you what was happening, and sadly sometimes my car would be bashed.
Wow.
And I always say, I wonder what plans God has for my life, because trust me, Luis, there are times I don't remember anything that happened.
Yeah.
I go outside, my light is broken and all that, but I get home in one piece every night.
Yeah.
But my wife would be worried, when is the day going to come when they'll say this happened to Wemi,
Yeah.
And I think after quitting, before that, trust me, I can't say things were like bad and everything, but just the aspect of drinking, I was never 100% there. It's like the alcohol had 80% of me and my family had 20%, I mean, like I said, we make a program, you need to spend time with your family and everything, but I will spend most of the time with drinking alcohol in the clubs, and when it's time to hang out with my family, I'm sleeping. I've got a hangover. So that's the biggest excuse. My wife would complain, we make plans, but you can't own up to those plans because you're always sleeping, nursing a hangover. And sometimes the hangover is so bad, the only thing that will help you is you need to take another beer and all that. But now I think maybe they're even fed up of seeing me now, I'm always there, I'm always there. My kids, I've got a son now as well, and I think I want to be the best example for him, and I know he's still a baby, but I can see, like, this boy loves me, just the way he looks at me, and I wouldn't want him, to see me in any state, like Cairo saw me, so I want to be the best example for my kids. I think all the good things that they should learn them from me and my wife, So I think I can say things have been really good, and I've always been a God-fearing person, but I sort of like fell back, but now I'm in, full force, so I think things are good.
To piggyback off of your, you talking about your kids and your family and you wanting to be an example to not just your son, but even your daughter, like she'll know, like, I can't marry a drunk because my dad wasn't a drunk, you know what I mean? But back to family dynamics, and you earlier mentioned that you started drinking because alcohol was everywhere. So I'm assuming by that you meant even at home with family and all that stuff. So what would you say to someone out there who's watching, who is a parent, maybe they're male or female, because I hear now statistics in the country are that women are drinking more than men. So it's not just husbands out there that are partaking in alcohol, but there are some moms as well that are leaving their kids at home and they're going out, whether they're using this to cope or, to get away from the pressure of life, whatever their reason is. But what would you have to say about the legacy that they are passing on, whether they want to or not? They're passing on this trap, it's this thing that will have a hold over their children because it's being passed down from one generation to the next.
I think what I would say, looking at everything I've said, I think, even growing up, alcohol was normal because everybody around me is drinking. I think there was maybe one or two people who wouldn't drink, and maybe one of your uncles will send you, open the beer for me, and so it's normal. If you look at the situation now, we've got a lot of youngsters who are, junkies. And like, I even wonder, like, okay, I don't know, we started drinking at, in grade 8, but maybe now you find someone is in grade 5, they're drinking, and there's all sorts of drugs out there, So I feel like as parents, we need to bring up our children, in a way that we would be proud of, ourselves. And I think most of the things that our kids learn, one, they see them from us. Because, there are even just a certain things that you say. If you say something, you find your child is saying it, because they see that from mom and dad. So I feel we need to get to a point where we are, I know we can't be perfect, but we are the best example for our children, as parents, so it starts from home. You can't always be getting high at the house. Your kids are seeing that. They're growing up, they're seeing it's normal. That's most of us grew up seeing that as normal. I think the last month I went to a store. So the owner of the store is some old Indian man. Yeah, so he's a very nice man, you know. So we're having a conversation. I was buying something from there.
Yeah.
He usually gives me popcorn for my daughter. Yeah. Then he was talking about, I've got a bar now. You should come and get some of the alcohol from here. So I was telling him I don't drink. The man was shocked.
Wow.
You don't drink? I've been in Zambia for 27 years, and you're the second Zambian to tell me you don't drink.
Wow.
You know, I'm like, serious? Like, I came in Zambia. I don't know when he came in Zambia. You know, it says, you're the second Zambian I've met who says they don't drink.
Yeah.
And he gave me a handshake, you know. I could see how, you know, like, he was shocked, you know, like. Yeah, so, and, you know, for me, that felt good, you know. So, like, yeah, I've surprised someone today, you know. Yeah, so I think that's, like you said, not only my son, my daughter as well, you know, she's seeing that, and I think she's getting the inspiration from me and my wife. And I would encourage a lot of people to, you know, to lead by example. You know, your kids need to grow up in a home where they can, you know, get the inspiration from their own parents.
Yeah. I think it's inspiring to see you as a young husband and a young dad making such a life-altering decision. And I say life-altering because, yes, it's changing your life, but like you've said, you're inspiring so many other people, and you've just, by your decision, changed the trajectory of your children's lives. Without, you know, you can't see into the future to know what you have saved them from because of the decision that you've made. And I think it's very inspiring because most people would make this decision later on in life because they're like, oh, I'm young, you know, let me have fun. I'll stop drinking when I'm older because now I want to have that fun. I won't get my youth back. You know, those are things we hear people saying. And there are people who will then make the decision to cut back, stop going to the club, stop drinking as much, or stop drinking completely, maybe in their 40s, you know. So for you to make this decision now at this stage, 4 years into marriage, young dad, it's not just a decision that speaks to, you know, your willpower, the solidity of your marriage and your unity with your wife, but I think it also speaks to the fact that when you surrender something that's this heavy, as you've described, as heavy as you've described, to God, like you've said, like He meets you where you decide. You spoke those words out loud and you made your intention known in your heart. Because in the Bible it even says, if you're neither here nor there, like, you know, don't even ask anything from God because you can't really make up your mind what you want. So at the stage when you kept on saying, no, this is my last weekend, like you hadn't yet decided. So God was like, you know, I'll wait for Him to get to a point where He actually means what He's saying. And it sounds to me like that morning God used the circumstances to really get you to a place where you could line yourself up with what He wanted for your life and partner with Him to create this dynamic force that has carried you 2 years in, and I believe many more years down the line.
Indeed.
Yeah, so just to wrap up, for the person watching that is where you were. They're tired of the hangovers, they're tired of blowing money, they're tired of getting home and not knowing what the heck they did the night before, or coming outside to wash their car and finding dents or scratches on their car, but they don't know for the life of them how they're going to make this change. Maybe they do know God like you did, but they just have this challenge really connecting with the power of the Holy Spirit to help them break these chains off of them. Or maybe they don't know God and they're thinking, okay, if I make this decision, how am I going to do it on my own? I'm probably the only one in the whole family or the only one at my workplace who will be the sober one, and how will that be? Will I manage? And all those kind of thoughts that I would imagine are running through their head. What would you have to say to such a person to encourage them and to let them know that they can do it?
Yeah. One thing is that you need to weigh the situation. I think, you know, there's the you who drinks, and all those, negatives that come with it. And there is the possibility of the you who can be the best version of you, without all those problems, the hangovers, the arguments, unnecessary spending, money that you could have used on more productive things. Accidents and all that, I think when you look at the positives that you get out of quitting alcohol, I think they are more than I don't know if there's any positives when you're drinking. Otherwise, I know we have people who drink moderately, but truth of the matter is everybody gets carried away, Yeah, so I think one thing is, how bad do you want your life to get better? So you need to think about that. For me, that was the one thing, I sat down, I thought about it, and I looked at my life. My life can be so much better, if I just quit. I think 3/4 of the problems that you are facing right now, if you are a heavy drinker, if you just narrow it down, all those problems are caused by alcohol. Yeah. The moment, trust me, for me, the moment I just took out alcohol from the equation, it's like everything just worked itself out. The hangovers went away, the arguments went away. I wasn't spending money carelessly, I wasn't bashing my car every now and then. Actually, I've never bashed my car from the time I stopped. Yeah, so I think alcohol is the main thing in that equation. You take it out, most of your so-called self-inflicted problems, will go away, and I think just to encourage you out there, like I said earlier on, I'm not special. If I can do it, so can you. It's all in the mind. God, one, pray to God. God will help you through this. And just to mention, there's a friend of mine who I grew up looking up to. Yeah, he's in Malawi. He was my senior in school. And I think one time he posted, because he had gained a lot of weight at some point. So he posted a picture on Facebook. He had lost weight. So, I inboxed him. Big bro, what's your secret? Then he told me, I stopped drinking, So I asked him, how did you do it? You know what he told me? Pray to God. Wow. That's how I stopped. So, and that was the same weekend when I was having that conversation, with my wife. So from that time, I told him, I'm stopping. Say, no, just pray to God. If you have anything, ask me. And I think he doesn't know. I've never really followed up, but just those words that he told me that day. And I think he helped me put God first. You can do it. Avoid going to those places that cause you to drink. Find something, in place of your drinking. On the weekend, you can go to the gym. I'm not saying stay in the gym the whole day or anything like that, but try and keep your mind busy, and I do a lot of reading nowadays. I've got a lot of time, It's actually, being home is actually not boring like I thought. Yeah, I've got a lot of time. I read a lot, and in this period that I've stopped drinking, I've been wanting to do my masters, But I was always making excuses. I'm going to class on the weekend. No, how can I be going to class on the weekend?
I want to hang out
yeah, so I actually stopped doing my masters because of that. But when I stopped, I just started. I finished my masters now, and now I'm inspired to keep going. Because if I can do this, and to be honest with you, little did I know, but a lot of people look up to me. And looking at someone who's younger than me and tells me, you don't suit to be in this state. Do you know how many people look up to you? And this is a guy who's younger than me who's telling me that, So I'm thinking, I inspire a lot of people. I think I don't want people to see me like this. There's that saying, they say, never meet your heroes. I'm your hero and you find me so drunk, I'm acting a fool, So for me, that was something like, no. If I'm someone's hero, they should meet me always, I'm at my highest. Yeah, so I think...
And you were a lot of people's hero.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, so imagine you see Teacher Wemi, yeah, so I think for me, just those thoughts, I inspire someone. Even everybody inspires someone out there. Yeah. Someone is looking up to you, and you don't know who you're influencing. Yeah. So you can choose to influence them in a good way or in a bad way. Yeah, so for me, I think that's the word of encouragement. If I can do it, so can you. Just put God first and just make that step, I always tell friends, one weekend at a time. If you can go this weekend without drinking, you go the next one. Before you know it, you'll be at a year and counting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again for being here. Thank you for answering all my questions and for sharing what God is doing in your life. I know, like you have said, it will definitely help a lot of people out there. Definitely for many years to come. Awesome. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, famous warriors, you have heard it from the man himself. He's speaking from experience, and just like him, if you find yourself at the end of your rope or in a place that you would term as being your rock bottom, you can only get up from there. And you don't get up in your own strength. You get up with the grace of God, with the strength of God. Like Wemi has said, put God first, pray to God. You might not have all the words, and you don't have to have all the words. All you need to have is a decision, and to trust that God will meet you where you're making that decision. So as you guys contemplate what we've discussed today, and you think about maybe taking some steps in your own life, or you think about who you can share this video with. If you're one of those people like Yasmin, Wemi's wife, who has somebody who you love that will need to listen to this video and need to hear for themselves how they too can get out of the trap of alcoholism, then you can share it with those who you're thinking about. Remember that our chance to fight is a privilege, and every single day we put one foot in front of the other. Like Wemi said, one weekend at a time, our chance to fight continues, and you guys are definitely worth that fight.